Hey guys, welcome back to AITA Stories channel.
Today I have 6 stories to share with you. Story 1, let's go. Am I the asshole for initially not believing my son when he said he was sick? I'm a 48-year-old single mom to 2 kids. We'll call them Rachel and Vic. Rachel recently turned 18, and she has a lot of chronic health issues she's been struggling with since she was little. We've been blessed that she has a lot of good periods, but right now she's having some trouble, likely due to the stress of next year's graduation and all that entails. I've been kept pretty busy making sure she stays as healthy as possible. I think Vic has always resented the extra attention his sister receives, which is understandable. I've always tried my best to make sure he has special time devoted to him too, but I'd be lying if I said Rachel's health hasn't taken precedence over everything else. About a month ago, we had the good news that Vic will likely be graduating early due to academic excellence. I was so happy and congratulated him, but I noticed that since then his behavior seemed to be worse. He was more moody, short with me, not eating meals I made. Last week, I took Rachel to the doctors over a sinus issue. While we were there, Vic called from school saying he was in a lot of pain, and could I take him home early? I told him he knew I was at the doctor with Rachel. He got PC and said some not so nice things about me favoring her. I'll admit I jumped to conclusions and thought that this, combined with his other bad behavior, meant he was just trying to get attention, since his early graduation news hadn't given him enough. I told him because of his attitude, I wasn't picking him up early at all, and after Rachel's doctor visit was over, I went to work as usual. When I got home, everything seemed normal, but when I called the kids down for dinner, Vic didn't come. When I checked his room, I quickly realized he's genuinely sick. I immediately rushed him to the doctors and apologized profusely to him for not believing him initially. I tried to explain that his behavior recently is why I assumed he just wanted attention. He said, if it was Rachel, I wouldn't have made that assumption, though I assured him this wasn't true. Since then, he hasn't really talked to me. Was I really being the asshole? I think I made an honest mistake and corrected it as soon as I found out things were serious. Story 2, let's go. Am I the asshole for having rules for my stepdaughter? My husband and I have his daughter for a week. I'm fine with this and have absolutely zero problem with her being here. Her mother works full-time, and so does her brother, and she's too young to stay alone all day. The issue came about today when I laid down rules for her while she's here. I don't think they're unreasonable, but my husband and stepdaughter think they are. Here they are. 1. No electronics after 11 o'clock p.m. That's no laptop, tablet, switch, etc. She can have a movie on for bed, but I set the timer and take the remote or she'll stay up all night. 2. Awake and out of bed by 11 o'clock a.m. or she'll sleep all day. 3. 3 hours maximum on her tablet each day. 4. She can't stay in her room all day. 5. She helps clean up after dinner, putting dishes in the dishwasher. 6. Practice basic hygiene. She's in the throes of puberty and is in the I don't wanna shower or brush my hair or teeth, etc. phase. That's it. That's literally it. But apparently I'm being too harsh, because it's summertime. I've also spoken with her mother, and she agrees with me on the rules, and says they have the same at their house, so I'm not sure why I'm being met with so much pushback from husband and child. So, am I the asshole here? Edit for some extra clarity. When I spoke with her mother, my husband was in the room, and I had her mother on speaker. He heard the whole conversation. He initially agreed to help enforce these rules, but changed his stance at the SD's first tantrum. These are the same rules she has at her mother's house. We've been together for 5.5 years. These were not set out of spite. They were set for consistency. Story 3, let's go. Am I the asshole for turning off a video game that my son and his friends were playing? My son had a sleepover with a few of his friends last night. They had gone swimming and played at the park before coming back to my house to play video games in the living room. I bought them a pizza to eat and was overwhelmed by the smell of 10/11's Yobor armpits. I told them to go put deodorant on, and they said okay. I checked in with them a few minutes later, and they still hadn't washed up. At that point, they started to push back that they didn't need it because they already put some on last night. I said whatever deodorant they put on last night had gotten washed off at the pool, and you all spent the last hours running around in warm weather. I told them again to put some on. They still didn't put any on, so I turned off their video game. Apparently, they were just about to pass a difficult level before I turned it off and were very upset with me. My son later told me that I embarrassed him. I told him that I handled it the way that I did because I wasn't getting their attention. Story 4, let's go. Am I the asshole for making a woman leave my house? I was talking with my wife's friend who was there for dinner. She tried to hug my son, but he had a bad day and said no thanks. She kept pressuring him and he didn't budge, so she looked at me. I said a kid at school started a fight with him, and he was grumpy, so maybe later. She said, come on, you're just gonna let him disobey like that? I said I raised him to build his own boundaries and say no when something violates them, and I would never make him break them for someone else. She laughed and said he's lucky he's not her kid, and that behavior would be fixed fast. I had my son go to his room. Then I told her to get out. I said the reason I got out of bed in the morning was to see my son grow another day older, and I would not stand for him being treated like a pet rather than a person. She called me in a hole and left. My wife is disappointed because she went to yoga with her, but says she can't scold me because she'd probably do the same.
Story 5, let's go.
Am I the asshole for screaming at my husband and his sister to get out of my kitchen? My husband's sister 38 lives with us and our kids. I'm well beyond fed up with her being here because of food issues. That's the only reason. So, basically, every single time I make food, his sister will come in and doctor up the food I'm making to her liking. Like, I made steak and shrimp the other day like Applebee's, and she waited until I left the room to put a full stick of butter in my shrimp that was already done, and when I came back in, she goes, I'm pretty sure that's the taste you were looking for, and completely ruined it. It was trash. Or whenever I make spaghetti, she will start dumping sugar into the sauce, to a point of sweet spaghetti that me and my kids outright refuse to touch because it's nasty. Every single time that she can get away with it, she's doing something to the food. Anyways, my husband has started doing the same thing. I went to make homemade mac last night and cheeseburgers. I went to the basement, to the chest freezer to grab the veggies I needed. And when I came back upstairs, my husband was putting canned chicken into the mac and cheese. He knows the kids absolutely hate the taste of that, and his sister has pushing blocks of blue cheese into the partially cooked burger. I asked what the fuck they thought they were doing because I've told them so many times to stop fucking with the food, and neither of them had any good excuse other than, we were just helping. I flipped out and told them to get the fuck out of my kitchen. Both of them told me I was overreacting. The thing is, I've openly asked my sil to cook several times and she won't. But she won't stop fucking with the food I'm making. My husband cooks often, and I don't care if he screws with food he makes, but it royally pisses me off when my cooking is messed with, and he knows that. Story 6, let's go. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that his wife was right to leave him after he lost his job? For the record, Mark and his wife are couple friends of my girlfriend and me. About a year ago, Mark lost his job and hasn't been able to find a new one until about a month ago. And I get the impression this job is not as lucrative as his previous job, but I'm not sure. About 3 months ago, his wife left him. They have 2 kids, 2 and 4. Anyway, me, IGF, Mark, and a few other friends went out drinking. He started by complaining his wife was it because she left him because he was unemployed. Except I know his wife wanted him to stop looking for FT jobs and only look for jobs he can do from home, and they keep the 2-year-old home from daycare to save money. I told him that no, his wife probably left him because he hasn't been doing his fair share in the house. She's been making jokes for ages about him living like a teenager until he has to pick up the kids at 4. He then takes care of them until mom comes home, they go to bed. I also know she's been wanting to get rid of their cleaner until he finds a job. Girlfriend and I don't have a cleaner, so the issue has come up. He said no, she just lost respect for him because he wasn't bringing in any money, and the rest was just excuses. Anyway, we had a fight. My girlfriend thinks I was an off for getting involved, plus, we really don't know all the details. The friends are split. Some say it's true. Women always leave men when they stop providing, and I wouldn't understand because I'm gay. Others think I was right, but I shouldn't have gotten involved. It ruined the night out. I think he needed a reality check. Please tell me, am I an asshole? By leaving a comment below the video. Thank you for watching and listening to my story.